Boys and girls, here's Math Lesson 1.2, all about place value concepts. You're going to want to write that down in your math journal, so pause the video while you get that recorded and then start it again when you're ready. So our math message today, of these two numbers which are displayed on your screen, which one is largest? About how much larger? Explain your thinking. So take a look at that, say those numbers for yourself, figure out which one's larger, and then put in your notebook the numbers, how much larger you think one is than the other, and explain your thinking. When you have that done, you can go on to the next part, but pause the video while you need to. So in this number, 46,385, yep, that's the way you say it. Which digit is in the hundreds place? The hundreds place. I hope you would see the hundreds is the 3. So the digit is a 3. Now when I ask what's the value of that digit, I hope you say 300, because 3 in the hundreds is talking about 3 hundreds. So 300. How about the digit in the ones place? In the ones, the digit is 5, and since it's in the ones, it's worth 5 ones or 5. That's the value. And then the digit in the 10,000s place. The 10,000s place, the digit is a 4, but since it's 4 10,000s, it would be worth 40,000. I hope that all makes sense to you when we're talking about place value. We want to make sure that that's what you're understanding. And how about this big number? How do you read that? Give it a go. And here's what I'd say. 463,000. You always say the comma as whatever place value it's right after. So 463,850. That's how you read that big number. Now let's do some comparing of these numbers. So you've got 46,385 compared to 463,850. So what's the value of the 4 in that top number? The value of the 4. I hope you would say the value of the 4 in this top number, let's do a purple one, is 40,000. The value of the 4 in the bottom number, though, the bottom number is going to be 400,000. So which one is larger? The 400,000, right? About how much larger is that? I hope you're thinking, well, it's going over one place value. We know place values, we're in a 10 base system, so it's going to be about 10 times larger. And how do you know? Pretty much what we've just said there, right? We're on a base 10 system. It's over one more place value. To go from place value to place value, we know that for each one of these, we're doing times 10, right? And it just keeps going that way. So when you go from this place value over 1, it's going to be times 10. That's how I know. So what I just explained to you, right? Make sure you write some notes in your notebook about that. And then I wanted to just talk about the value of each of these and show you another way that we could represent that. So I wrote the number 7,692 down for you, and then I just took it and broke it apart for expanded form. And I'm writing it vertically. I could also write it horizontally, but this time I thought it's a pretty cool representation of how we break down that number for expanded form. So the 7 in that number is worth 7,000. The 6 is worth 600. The 9 is worth 90, and the 2 is worth 2 because it's in the ones. And if I added that together over there on the right, then you're going to see I'm back at 7,692. That's expanded form when I do it that way. Make sure you have that written in your notes. It's a really good term for you to know. And again, I could also write that vertically if I wanted to. So here's another question for you. When you look at these two numbers, 47,899 and 48,908, if I want to know which one's larger, how could I use expanded form to tell me that? So give that a thought. And let's take a look. So there, this time I've written it horizontally for you. And you can see how I've broken it down by each of the place values. Take a look and make sure that all makes sense to you. So when I use expanded form, I'm really breaking it down to look at the value of the digits, the place value of them, and this makes it really clear. Whenever you compare numbers this way, you're always going to start on the farthest left. So if I compared these, you see the 4 for both of them is worth 40,000 because it's 4 10,000s. So that's not going to help me figure out which one's bigger. But as soon as we get to the thousands column, the 8 is larger than the 7. So already right there, I know that the 48,908 is bigger because I've just gone in 2 steps from the left to this 8 right here. This 8 is bigger than this 7. And that's where my deciding factor is. Right? So if I've compared them, do I need to look at the rest of the numbers and the rest of the expanded form in order to decide it? I don't, right? Because if I'm working from the left to the right, looking at the higher place value, as soon as I find a difference, I've compared my numbers and I know which one's bigger. So I could write that out. 47,899 is less than 48,908. And that's because the value in the thousands column is different between the two numbers. All right. So, let's have you try one more problem like that. So you write down in your notebook one more thing. How about if we compare 34,212 and 44,886? Write those two numbers down. 34,212, 44,886. If you break those numbers down in expanded form, how can you tell which one's bigger? Be ready to talk about that when you come to group. All right, so your next job is going to be to work on Math Journal page 4 and Math Journal page 5. It's going to give you more practice on comparing numbers. So take a look at those, start working on those. If you happen to finish those before I call you to group, or I mean, if you happen to finish those and still have time on your hands, you could play Number Top It or Subtraction Top It on the games on Connect Ed. All right, thanks.